So you want to do that. It's going to require some planning. And I'll go back to what I said earlier. This requires you treating romance like it's a priority in your marriage. The problem people have in marriage is that their marriage is not a priority anymore. They started off with their marriage being the foundation for everything outside of God. But at some point, the marriage ended up on the back burner. You do just enough to keep your husband or your wife appeased if you do that. So you can just keep doing what you really want to do. And eventually, what happens is you either look up and you've lost 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and you're not lovers anymore, you're just partners. Or somebody ends up being wooed by somebody else because that's a need in your life, even if you're putting it on the back burner, that's supposed to be met. So if anybody starts to scratch that itch, all of a sudden you find your heart going the wrong direction. All because marriage wasn't treated as a priority. As far as God is concerned, the most important relationship you will ever have on this planet, outside of your relationship with Him, is the relationship with your husband or your wife. And that relationship should be number one all the time. And if it is, then you will invest the time, the energy, and the effort necessary to consistently romance your mate. You will do what it takes to wow them again and again and again. Doesn't mean that this is every day. It doesn't mean that it's every week, but it does mean that it's a regular part of your marriage relationship. And one thing we can see from the book of Song of Solomon about this couple is they're constantly outdoing each other. And that's really what God wants in your marriage, that you're constantly outdoing each other. He does this for her. She comes back and does this for him. And she says this about him. He says this about her. That's where you find yourself in a relationship where 20 years have passed, 30 years have passed, 40 years have passed, and you're still just as much in love or even more in love than you ever were before. Because you all have been showing that love to each other on a consistent basis, meeting those needs like God intended.